Thank you for joining us for this episode of Take Notice, Amplifying Black Stories. I am your host, Allison Preisinger-Higgins. Take Notice, Amplifying Black Stories is a podcast exploring society, culture, and current events through conversation. We aspire to create an open, respectful, and equitable space where guests may feel free to share their truth and lived experiences. Our core values are rooted in community, connection, and personal development. Stories help us learn, relate, and grow. We are here to listen, to take notice. Thank you for being with us. I would like to show gratitude to the traditional ancestral land of the Puyallup people past and present on which this episode was created. I encourage listeners to research the land on which you live and are listening right now. Recognizing this is just the beginning. The more you explore, challenge, and learn, the more questions may arise, but this is how we grow and connect. Welcome to Take Notice, Amplifying Black Stories. I'm your host, Allison Preisinger-Higgins. On this episode of Take Notice, we welcome Dessy Di Lauro for a rich conversation on songwriting, performing, moving from Montreal, where she was raised, to touring the world and landing in LA with her husband, Ric'key Pageot. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Dessy is in the process of releasing new material, including a single she released back in October of 2023 entitled The Light, which you can find online anywhere she is, anywhere you find Dessy, and we discuss in this conversation as well. Born in Montreal, Dessy Di Lauro discovered her love for music at a young age. Venturing to Los Angeles, she met producer and now life partner Ric'key Pageot, forming the groundbreaking duo Parlor Social, which garnered acclaim with their unique fusion of ragtime, swing, and hip-hop-infused R&B. Now Di Lauro is embarking on a solo career, blending Brazilian, Cuban, Italian, and African influences. Her forthcoming album promises a dynamic exploration of diverse musical roots, marking a compelling new chapter for this musical trailblazer. I'm super excited to see what she has in store for the year and upcoming in her career, and it was a wonderful time chatting with her about everything songwriting, Montreal, Cirque du Soleil, all the things that have brought her joy in the last few years. So here is Dessy Di Lauro. Well, Dessy, thank you for joining me on Take Notice. I'm excited to chat with you today. How are you?
Yes, good. Thank you for having me. How are you today?
Yeah, absolutely. Good. I've been running around a little bit and it's very cold here now. All of a sudden it's like freezing.
Where are you?
Just south of Seattle in Tacoma in Washington State. Yeah. Are you in California, LA area?
California, LA, Burbank, and it's starting to get cool, which is very welcome right now. I'm good with it.
Yeah. The summer was a little much, right?
Yeah. We still got like another week or so of heat coming. So.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Definitely a little different down there than up here.
Yes.
But how long have you been in the LA Burbank area?
Oh my gosh, over 10 years now. In and around of LA, first LA County and now in Burbank, but nice. I was in the area because that's where the work is. So
sure,
not too far because LA is huge.
Yeah.
So to get from one spot to the other, you got to be within close vicinity, especially if you're working in the studios and stuff. Everything is in this area. So
yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. You got to be available when the job pops up. I imagine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you moved from Montreal. Is that correct? So about 10 years ago, you're in Montreal. And is that where you grew up? Was Montreal?
Originally born and raised in Montreal, Canada. Lived there till I didn't.
Right.
I actually worked for Cirque du Soleil.
Oh.
That was my first major gig. And so when I got Cirque, I had to move to Florida, Orlando.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to Cirque du Soleil because that's very cool, interesting. But who were you surrounded by growing up in Montreal?
Oh my gosh. I was surrounded by amazing musicians and mentors, such as Alan Prater, who used to perform with Millie Jackson and the Jacksons. He actually toured with the Jacksons, and he ended up staying in Montreal. Kat Dyson, who played for Prince and Cyndi Lauper. She still plays for Cyndi Lauper. And, a whole bunch of people. Kat Dyson, so funny. I just saw her yesterday. But yeah, she was like the head of our gospel choir in Montreal for so many years till she got a call from Cyndi Lauper to go out on tour. And they're like, we've had like some pretty amazing like mentors back home. So I've been blessed.
Yeah.
Well surrounded with a lot of talent. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What kind of sparked your interest in music or the music industry? Was it early on when you were growing up, or did you kind of develop it later on?
Growing up, my parents were avid vinyl collectors. They had everything. Their vinyl collection was incredible. Anywhere from like ragtime to blues to jazz to bossa to salsa to like Italian classics, because all of that's in my cultures. So we listened to a huge variety of music. I was very, very blessed to have like all these incredible albums I grew up listening to. And then Patti LaBelle, Luther Vandross, Whitney Houston, like so much amazing music. Duke Ellington, like it was crazy. It was an incredible mix of music.
Yeah.
So I was blessed with hearing all this incredible music growing up. So my parents instilled a good musical tapestry.
Yeah. Sounds like a great foundation with all those influences.
Yes. And then I also grew up like singing in church as well. So that was like a big deal, like a huge gospel influence. And so, there's that as well.
Yeah. You learn a lot singing with other people and in choirs and things.
Yes, I learned how to build my voice from a very young age because I never took lessons. So that was my school. It was my, warming up with the choir, and that was school for me. So
wonderful. What did your parents do growing up?
My mom worked in fashion. She used to buy. I'm one of the buyers, dress people up, personal fashion stylist, dresser.
Yeah.
And my dad was a shoemaker. But also worked in the shoe business and stuff. So I was surrounded by everything that I love.
Right.
Fashion and all that good stuff. So
fashion, shoes, music. What else do you need?
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You have siblings growing up too?
I do. I have one older brother.
One older brother. Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Is he still in Montreal, or did he move away?
He's still in Montreal. Everybody's in Montreal.
Okay.
Family's in Montreal. So they're all there. I'm here.
That's nice.
Yes. Yeah. Go back and forth every now and then and stuff. So
yeah. Go visit. Yeah.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes.
You were in gospel choirs and then transitioning out of high school, I imagine. What did you do did you know you wanted to go into the music industry straight out of high school, or was it a journey?
I always did, because I was writing with friends in high school, singing in bands, singing wedding bands. I was in a Portuguese wedding band and always writing. So at 17, I was in like this trio group, and we were writing like 10 songs a week.
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
Because we got a manager, and I thought that was the norm. And everybody's like, 10 songs a week? You guys were kids. Like, you were writing 10 songs a week. That's a lot. And we would just push ourselves. So initially, it just kind of happened. I always knew music was in my blood. I will always be like the singing kid, like in school and in the schoolyard and at parties, and that I would say sing a song and stuff like that. But it just kind of morphed into me doing it like full time. It just kind of happened. Initially, I wanted to be a fashion designer.
Oh, okay.
So I was following in my mom's footsteps with the fashion, and I was like, okay, we're going to do fashion. But I never wanted to dedicate my time, because fashion is a really difficult and hardcore industry. Like, fashion design is no joke. So I was like, do I really want to be up at 3 a.m, like making patterns and draping? And it was hardcore. It's hardcore. You really need to be loving fashion because it's a lot of work.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so I'd probably be better off in fashion merchandising, but music chose me. So I just went with the flow, and that was it. It was like someone saw a really great potential in me, a manager at a very young age, and that was the start of it. And so she sent me to Japan at the age of 18 or 19 for a 2.5 month gig. And I thought that was normal. I was singing like 4 or 5 sets of 50 minutes every single night for 6 days. And I thought that was normal.
Wow. Yeah.
But it kicked my butt.
Yeah.
And so it was a great practice and stuff for what was to come. So like it just kind of happened. So
that's amazing. And to find that support and that kind of path so early on is probably was, because that sounds like an amazing opportunity to kind of really put the work in and like get kind of thrown into the fire a little bit.
It was. And
right.
I really did. You said it right.
Right.
I was being thrown into the fire because I didn't realize that. I was like, okay, I'm getting some like schooling here. I'm going and I'm the only singer and I'm okay. This is probably what's normal, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but it was fun.
Yeah, I bet. Was that your first time outside of the U.S. or no, outside of Canada, I guess?
Outside of Canada, first time traveling, first time away from home. My parents were freaked out. They're like, you're a baby, you're going overseas. It was crazy. Yeah, my first time, my first live experience ever. It was nuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an experience for that's amazing. Man.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. When did Cirque du Soleil come up after that? Was it a while or?
It's a little while because Cirque, not that long after, Cirque had, I was doing something with a hip hop group and one of the songs that I was featured on singing and actually wrote the hook to, it went to #1 in Canada.
Oh, okay.
And so, and even that, it's just these experiences that I walk into like, the kid walking in, like, not totally oblivious and walking in like, okay.
Yeah.
And this song went #1. I also wrote something else for another rap group that went #1 as well. And so after that happened, Cirque gave me a call. It's so crazy because prior to Cirque, right before Cirque, I got a call to audition for Rent.
Oh.
And at the time, I was standing in line and people were like, she looks like Mimi. I had never heard of Rent in my life. Knew nothing about it. And I actually got a few callbacks and I chickened out and stopped because I was like, I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
But I had gotten callbacks and everybody was so convinced that, had I gotten through it, I would have probably been playing Mimi on Broadway. But my path wasn't intended to be that. And so that's when Cirque called right after that. And they're like, we have a position for you if you'd be interested. So I went to their headquarters, I auditioned, and that was it. It was a wrap. Yeah. Yeah. But even at that, I thought they were going to send me home because I was like, I've never done a Cirque du Soleil show. I don't know what this is going to entail. I don't know what this is going to look like. And I'm not sure they're going to like me. I was there and I was like, why am I here for? This is not my world.
Right. Yeah.
It worked out. It really, really worked out. So
that's great. What was the audition like? Was it just you went and you sang some prepared things, or did they put you through the ringer for some stuff?
They didn't. I went to head office. It was in their boardroom, one of the boardrooms. It was with a few people and they're like, can you sing this for us? Can you sing this for us? Can you sing this for us? Okay. So it wasn't, at the time, it wasn't like a normal Cirque audition.
Sure.
I walked in there and they were, I guess they had already set their minds and knew that it was going to be me. Probably having seen me in this music video with that song. And they were like, oh, at the time they were calling it hip hop, but I was like, if they're looking for hip hop, I sing R&B vocals on hip hop records, but I'm not, I got some hip hop skills. I could rap, but I wouldn't specifically say I am influenced by hip hop, but I'm not hip hop.
Sure.
So, yeah, but it worked out. They had me sing a few things in the office and they were like, okay, we'll call you when we're ready. I got the phone call confirming the next day.
Wow.
Yeah. And maybe like 2 weeks after that, I was flown to Orlando.
Yeah, that's quick.
Everything. Yeah. Yeah.
Were most of the performances you were involved in, were they in Florida, or was that just where you prepped to go? Did you tour?
It
Or
was, they used to have, so I was doing the La Nuba show in Orlando, Florida, and it was on downtown Disney,
okay.
On location. They built this beautiful tent-like, building,
Okay.
for the show to be permanent there. And, yeah, the rest is history. I was there for
Yeah.
2 years. And
Okay. 2
yeah.
years. Wonderful.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah.
So living in Florida, doing the thing, 2 years. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
In between your work for Cirque, while you were there in Florida, I imagine you're still writing and doing your own. Were you still being able to be creative, or was it kind of all consuming the Cirque show?
It was a lot of work because we were doing 10 shows a week.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But I always found time to write. And so I was writing, I already started writing with somebody that was in the show at the time. We were
Great.
writing music. And then when I finished that contract, I came home with a whole bunch of music. And when I came home and moved back to Montreal, I met who would be my future husband, writing partner, Ric'key Pageot, and I gave him all the music. I was like, we met, we connected with everything musically. We just had so much in common. Family, the way we were raised, the music we listened to, the friends, because he was on the Montreal music scene. And so he was the new cat on the scene that everybody kept talking about. Oh, this Ric'key cat, the new young fella, young blood on the scene, So when we connected, it was just an automatic trust and a deep connection between the two of us. So I just handed him the music and I said, listen, I have all this music. Like, can you arrange it? Let's do something.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. We started working from that point on and developed a sound
Right.
pretty much. Yeah. So I gave him all the music, and that was basically my first EP, The Study of a Woman's Soul. That was the stuff that I had worked on with Ric'key. So yeah.
Wonderful. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And was that what developed into Parlor Social? Is that
Correct.
right? Okay.
Correct. So it's always been him and I. We've always been that writing team. Other than now that I'm doing my solo stuff, it's all me. So from The Study of a Woman's Soul, it was Dessy Di Lauro featuring Ric'key Pageot. But we wrote all the stuff together. And then we put out something else under Dessy Di Lauro, which was, this is Neo Ragtime. Came up with this fusion of another heavy influence in my family was my parents used to listen to Duke Ellington, Fats Waller, everything from the Harlem Renaissance. My parents were deeply into. They were obsessed with the sound, obsessed with the movement, obsessed with all of it. So we started doing this like speakeasy soul kind of music that was a mix of like ragtime swing meets hip hop meets R&B meets jazz. So it was a fusion of all these sounds. And so, yeah, we came up with this incredible like mix of music. Yeah, that's how we got the sound neo ragtime speakeasy soul term. Came up with our own like unique brand of music.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was us. And we came up with that sound right when we moved to LA. We're sitting in our old apartment. I was like, he was playing something classical and I was like, swing that. I hear this differently. And that was it. That's how we started coming up with this new sound and writing new music in that genre.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How long was it before that you all got together before you moved to LA together?
I want to say,
I asked the difficult timeline
yeah,
questions.
I want to say 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, wait. Oh my gosh, it's all a blur. I want to say 3 to 5 years because we toured another Cirque show together.
Oh, okay.
We got engaged during that time and also married during that time.
Oh,
so right
wow.
after that, we moved to LA.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you able to tour Cirque as the duo, or were you doing something else within Cirque?
No, we were doing like an actual show.
Okay.
Cirque's first rock and roll arena.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Show called Delirium. And so I was one of 6 singers in that show. And Ric'key was one of the youngest musical directors in that show. First Black musical director, youngest, the Cirque du Soleil. He was leading the band. So
wow.
we got the opportunity to tour together, and we took it. So
yeah.
And right after that, I wasn't finished my contract with Cirque yet. Ric'key had finished. He came first, and I met him here afterwards, shortly after.
Okay.
So yeah.
What a cool experience to start together, you know, like just to prior to getting married and all these things, just go tour, do a thing, music. That's amazing and entertaining. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but we got to see the world together and experience that together, and then finally settle in LA because this was a place to be. People had been telling us, like, you need to go to LA. And then we got here. After meeting him here, 3 weeks later, Ric'key had gotten Madonna.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
So he got a call to tour with Madonna. So it's crazy.
Wow.
The twists and turns. Life leads us in different directions and stuff.
Yeah.
And we were meant to be here. So
definitely. Yeah. You never know where it's going to take you, especially like on a tour with Madonna, who
right.
That's amazing. Right. What was he doing on that tour?
He was playing keys. So
right. I think I saw that. Okay.
Yeah, he plays keys, and he's still out there, but he's a teacher for one of her daughters right now. So he's giving piano lessons and mentoring and helping her in the show because there's no band, but her kids are all in the show. So
they are. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun. Wow.
Yeah. So he's out there now.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Where did your where did your tour with Cirque du Soleil before you moved to LA? What kind of places around the world did it take you?
Oh, we went to Spain. We went to Lisbon. We did all of Europe.
Okay.
All of Canada, all of the US.
Wow.
So, I'm trying to remember. Did we go to South America? We did not go to South America, but we did Europe and North America.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. Going back a bit, you mentioned that you had some number one songs early on prior to Cirque and everything. What were those? I'm curious what those songs were. People can look them up, and I can look them up later too.
So the title's in French. So one of them is from Dramatique, and it's La Force de Comprendre.
Okay.
So that's the one. And the other one is with La Gamique, Simplicité. That's what it was. So that's a lot easier to say than La Force de Comprendre, but yeah.
True.
So the first guys, they're the guys from Senegal, Africa.
Okay.
And we're a whole bunch of friends from back home, and we just connected and started working together, and this came up. And then the other rap group was signed to the same label, and they asked me to write a hook for them. And I was like, sure. And so I used to write a lot of choruses for a lot of bands and groups out of Canada, and still every now and then we'll get asked to do some stuff. So
that's wonderful. Yeah, I imagine you mentioned writing 10 songs a week for a while early on, like in high school, and that had to have been an amazing, like without even thinking about it, an amazing education as far as like, well, that works, that doesn't work, or let's try this.
It's so crazy because I never looked at it like that because it's not a normal thing to do that. Even in our industry, people are like, wow, you were getting like whooped into shape. I said, I sure did.
Yeah.
Which was great. It's a great school, a great learning mechanism at that age. But yeah, my penmanship has always been really good. The songwriting has always been a really strong feat of mine. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you describe your writing process?
Or
does it change as you go on?
Well, I usually come up with like, so my beats and melodies and putting the music together. Mm-hmm. And then actually it's usually always melody that comes. Always melody first. Mm-hmm. If I'm hearing something that inspires me, it's melody that comes immediately. And so I'll sit there and record the melody on one of these voice notes. And then I always hear something in that kind of mumble whatever, there's always a lyric that sticks out. And I'll go to that lyric and be like, okay, I'm going to take a piece of that and run with it. Because if that came out, it's because there's something in there. There's a message in there that needed to be brought to light. So I'll base myself off of that. And I really, like, with time, I'm trying to work quicker, and I have been really good. So I could write a song like in a couple of hours, 2 hours, and have the entire thing finished. And then I will try to get into studio the same week.
Nice.
You know, because everybody's so busy here, I wish I have more access to, like, okay, I'm going to record this in studio tonight, or like, and get like a very steady flow of it. But, you know, financially, people's availabilities, you always got to wait. Book it according to who's available and stuff. But you know, it's good. In a good week, I can get 3 songs a week done.
Wow.
On a good week. So yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm a musician as well, and so that's why I'm probably digging more deeply into these questions. But I recently read a book by Jeff Tweedy. I don't know if you are familiar with who that is. He's the songwriter for Wilco, like a folk alternative kind of band. And he was mentioning something that's very similar to what you just said, as far as like how he comes up with songs, kind of allowing it to come out and allowing the melody and music to kind of inform what the song is about, and whatever word pops into his head, writing it down until it starts forming the song and forming what the purpose of this song is, or the message of the song. So I thought that's very interesting.
What do you play? What do you play?
I'm a singer-songwriter as well. So I play guitar, piano, I sing. So I'm always really interested in how other people, you know, talking about music and how other people's process and stuff. So yeah.
Well, it's crazy because when I always tell people because, you know, these conversations come up all the time, and I work with friends, and they're singer artist friends as well, and musicians, and they're like, you know, like, do you have artist block? And I said, you know what? No. For me anyways, there's no such thing as artist block. You can always write. Doesn't mean it's great.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's great.
Yeah.
But there's never artist block. You're always writing, right? You can write anything. It's just write whatever you need to write out and then clean it up later. Yeah. Yeah. So these are the conversations we have. It's like, no, artist block doesn't exist. When you set it aside, okay, you're stopping yourself, but you can always write. Doesn't mean it's good.
Yes. Yeah.
It may need to be reworked a few times, but it's so crazy because a lot of times you get a call to write for other people, or you'll be in a studio with an artist. They'll be like, go to the other room and write out a whole song. So these are great exercises for you to like finish a song completely from top to bottom, and then have to clean it up. Sometimes you have to write these things, you know, sometimes for placements and stuff, people will ask you to do some stuff. You got to get it done there and then and finish it on the spot. Yeah. So you have like an hour to finish a song from start to finish.
Right.
So it's a really good tool when you start getting into those spaces to exercise your brain muscle. And then once you start doing it, it becomes like second nature. You just get into a flow of it. And and I'm starting to see this pattern with myself. Like there is a formula to the way I go about it. And it's like an ease and a flow to it now. And I'm like, okay, universe, give me this, whatever's coming to me. This is what we're going to get into right now. So yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like that process for you, it sounds like without even thinking about it, has allowed you to not get in your own way, which I think is where the writer's block seems to come from, is the fear or the feeling that, I need to have the next thing that comes on the page be perfect or something. It just has to come out. That's all. So, So yeah, that's really great. And yeah, it sounds like a lot of it developed for you without even trying to, you're just allowing it, just like your career, you're just allowing it to happen.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Because sometimes we put so much thought into it and it's not that deep. It's like, okay, just go with the flow and then clean it up later.
Yeah.
Just write.
Yeah.
Write whatever you're feeling at that moment. So.
I love that.
Yeah.
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 One more thought on that, because it reminds me of something I was just reading yesterday that Joni Mitchell wrote, said. It was something similar. It's like, I don't understand writer's block. The only thing that comes up is like, if you're afraid to say how you're really feeling, like about something, because you always have feelings, just write it down.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Interesting.
And there's always something that comes up in the mumble jumble that you're going to throw onto any recording at that moment. And then you pick out those pieces and be like, oh yeah, I can work with this.
Yeah.
Let me write a song about trees.
Right.
Well, we're going to write a song about hugging trees today because this is what we're going to talk about, right? So there's always something there. There's always something. So there's never a block. It's like, it could be shitty.
Right.
Or it could be really good. But all you got to do is clean it up later.
Yeah.
And you got yourself a song. So
I love that. How many releases did you and Ric'key put out so far?
We put out A Study of the Woman's Soul was under me, but he was already part of that. And then we did This Is Neo Ragtime. That was the second album. And then we did a third EP. And that EP became like, we joined those two albums at one point. This is Neo Ragtime and the EP.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the thing to do because we changed the name and people were like, okay, we re-released it under Parlor Social.
Oh, okay.
And so, really interesting because someone we spoke to told us to change our name as a duo and that would work better. It actually did not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we were getting more traction under Dessy Di Lauro, and Ric'key obviously was a producer and my writing partner, and that worked. But when we worked to Parlor Social, we went to Parlor Social, decided to change everything. We got lost in the mix.
Oh, okay.
People were confused. We still have people coming up to us and saying, who's Parlor Social, by the way? And, we've done a lot of things and accomplished a lot under the name, but still, a lot of the people that knew my stuff under Dessy Di Lauro, we got lost in translation. So it was a little bit of a curse for us switching the name.
That's too bad. Yeah.
Listening to people in the industry, sometimes what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for somebody else. And it was a big manager at the time that had suggested that. And, we paid for a consultation. I was like, not so much. So
yeah. That stinks.
You live and learn.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So it's all good.
That's a bummer. So, but now you're shifting to doing your solo releases, right? So your name is back on it, right? And so
name is back on it. Rebranding everything. It's a rebrand, a complete rebrand. I had been wanting to do this for a long time, but life experiences and stuff, it wasn't the time. And now it's a time to mix all my cultural mixes and the sounds that I grew up with and morph into one sound. And people are really gravitating towards it. It's been amazing. Yeah, put out a few singles, but this latest single, The Light, has really been resonating with a lot of people. Just because of the message, positive message about the song and everything going on. It's so needed right now because a lot of people are going through a lot of things after the pandemic, these wars, this craziness of everything going on. It's just like a little positivity goes a long way and music heals and people need this right now.
Yeah.
We're artists and we have messages and we can either take it in a good way or in the other way. And I feel right now I have to be a spreader of light and love. Yeah. So this song couldn't have come out at a better time, I feel. And so people are resonating with it because people always turn to music, no matter what's going on, no matter how bad things are in this world, people will always turn to music and the arts for upliftment, for to get into a different headspace,
Yeah.
Because if you're glued to the TV 24/7, you're constantly in this rut and this it's depressing. It's depressing. So it's like, okay, it's not to ignore what's going on out there.
Right.
Yeah, we're a part of change and we're a part of bettering this world. But at the same time, we also need to take a break from this crazy, everything that's going on out there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If we got to be the shift in the atmosphere right now. So I strongly believe that putting this stuff out will help in that shift. I'm an optimist, so I'm trying to be optimistic about this stuff and be like, we have to be the messengers of putting that out there so that it catches on,
Yeah. Yeah. It is extra, especially heavy right now. And I agree. Yeah. Some balance being put out into the world is needed.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm doing my part.
Yeah.
I'm trying. At least I'm trying.
Sounds like. When did that single come out, most recent one?
So the single came out October 13th.
Okay.
And so it's over 2 weeks now. It's getting amazing traction. A lot of blogs are writing about it in Ghana and Greece and France and the UK and Brazil. Brazil's like on so many playlists right now. The last time I checked, it was like 30 playlists in 2 weeks.
Wow.
I'm like,
amazing.
Okay. We're doing good. Come on, keep it going. So I think people are really trying to spread this message. And there's a lot, we can get a lot of that other garbage elsewhere. Like, not to say that I don't need like a little whatever every now and then, but I'm like, there's a lot of like negativity out there. A lot of in our music as well. I'm like, I don't want that right now.
Right. Yeah.
It's not resonating with me right now. Like we really need to be like, it's important right now to be a messenger of hope and love.
Yeah.
So I feel like people are gravitating towards that because people have had enough. Like they're like, well, we need more of this. It's okay. A little more consciousness. It's okay. It's okay. So,
do you have plans for more single releases as the months continue, or as the year continues, or how does that
right
work?
now, I'm going to let this one go because it seems like it's doing really, really well. And so I plan a release for the top of 2024.
Great.
So I'm really excited about that. And the song is going to Be Still. That's the title of it. And so there's a double meaning to this song, meaning that, I know for people of color, women of color specifically, there's always a battle about resting. We don't rest. We don't give ourselves time to rest and to heal and, the generational trauma and all this stuff. And I was like, I wrote this song from a place like, I was like, and this is for BIPOC women in general. I was like, cause I had a conversation with a friend of mine. She's from East Indian background. And so we had this conversation. She inspired me to write the song. And we had this conversation like, it's so crazy how we don't give ourselves time to rest. Because we always feel like we have to prove ourselves. We have to do something. We have to get out there and work, whether you have like a career, family, kids. We always got to push ourselves to do something. We always got to be doing something. Because if we're sitting still and relaxing and resting, well, we feel guilty, right? And so I said, that's so interesting. Like, that is so on point. And so the song came to me when she said that. We had a conversation. The song came to me in 10, 15 minutes. I had the entire song written out.
Wow.
Melody, lyrics, everything. And I was like, this resonates with me. And it has like this tribal Caribbean Afro beats. But like, it's about a vibe with that song. It's a total vibe. And there's a double meaning. It's like, it's okay to rest and make sure that what you're doing in your lifetime, because we only have this one life to live, make sure that you love what you're doing. And so, but the chorus is be still, only get up if it moves you. So that could be for the music as well. So I was like, that's really cool. I was like, be still, only get up if it moves you. That's the music as well. Only get up if this music is moving you.
Yeah.
Don't get up if you're not feeling it. It's okay. but only get up if it moves you. So yeah. And so that's a whole general consensus for in life. Be still, only get up if it moves you.
Yeah.
So, and it's okay to take a rest. So there's this narrative that I loved so much in the conversation that I plucked out of that conversation. I said, that's so important.
Yeah.
We don't rest enough. We don't. We're not given a break. You know, there's all these pressures and we feel like we have to achieve everything because we're constantly trying to prove ourselves, you know, in this crazy world of ours. And I was like, that's so interesting. I was like, yeah, that song wrote itself.
Yeah, sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a good line too. Yeah.
And so there's a whole concept and video that I'm actually going to start working on this week.
Oh, great.
And go in and record it in November.
Yeah.
So that's a big campaign. What's coming top of 2024, that concept, I'm excited for people to see this concept. It's going to be pretty cool.
That's
it's
exciting.
A whole like vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. This episode will probably come out around January too. So that'll be great.
So yeah,
it'll be
I'm looking to put it out end of January.
Oh, great. Yeah.
So a whole campaign behind this thing. I'm really excited because I just dabbled with the live show of what's coming, but it wasn't even close to what's coming for future. So 2024 is going to be on fire.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
Yeah. That was my next question was, do you have plans to tour with this new music?
I do. Right now in talks with a few people because I feel like with this single, it's sparking a lot of interest from a lot of people. So we're in talks about shows and stuff for 2024 on top of 2024 and traveling and so it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
That's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots
so
of planning.
I know people need to hear what's next so they know what's coming and it's garnering like a lot of attention and stuff, but like the next level of it is going to be a step up. And I really feel it in my veins that, something big is coming in 2024. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, that sounds very exciting. It seems very like things are aligned, which is
aligned.
Great.
And, you know, it's always coming from a place of pure integrity and love. And, please excuse me because my dog is very loud drinking water. So
is that
what's happening right now?
I could only hear pieces of it. So I didn't.
So she's like
it's all good.
huffing and puffing at the neighbors coming in and drinking water. And here you go again.
She's got to do her thing. It's all good.
I know, she's doing her.
She's like, what? I'm a dog. It's great. What kind of dog?
Yeah. She's a blue chow chow.
Aw, cute.
Yeah,
nice.
Sweetest. She's very sweet. That's my baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dogs are the best.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, besides music, what is an inspiration for you or what kind of brings you joy? And maybe we just talked about it, but what comes to mind besides maybe music or your dog?
Besides music and my dog and my husband,
Mm-hmm.
Eating brings me a lot of joy.
Do you cook?
Eating great food, I do.
Yeah.
And I'm a great cook. But eating great food brings me so much joy. Also, I have my own company, organic makeup and hair products.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it's makeup, it's hair oils, it's body butter, it's all this stuff. During the pandemic, had to find a way of surviving. And I feel like we all became like superheroes during this time, during lockdown, during our industry completely shut down. And we're like, what are we going to do?
Right.
So I started my own company called Didi's Naturals.
Okay.
And it's doing really well.
Nice.
I have a couple of celebrity clients that I cannot talk about.
But, nice.
But some really, I love it. I love creating these products, and that's another pastime. And I'm still into the fashion world. That's coming soon. Fashion will always be my heart. And so I have ideas for stuff that's coming down the pipeline. I'm just trying to juggle everything all at once right now. So
yeah, it's a lot.
so
Sounds
it's
like
a lot.
yeah.
But yeah, fashion. I'm heavily into fashion and all that stuff, and I love it. I do all my branding and all my creative stuff. So it's just, yeah. So that's,
Nice.
all of that stuff as well. So yeah, vegan food too. Have some ideas for that as well. That's coming in the future. So
Oh, okay.
a few different projects and stuff, but all creative, everything having to do with, creativity, and my brain doesn't stop. I'm constantly like thinking of new stuff and ideas and
yeah.
yeah.
Gift and a curse, right?
Yeah. It's fun though. I love
Good.
it. I'm like,
good.
Yeah, it's a lot. It can be a lot, but I love it.
Yeah.
I just fill myself with all this creative flow and love it so much. So yeah.
That's wonderful. Are you vegan, or is it something that you're...
So my husband is, but I am when he's home. I'd say 90% of the time I am. He's 100%.
Okay.
I only cook vegan in my house, but I feel like it's a blood type thing, and I do feel like I'll get myself a great steak.
Yeah.
Leave the house, because my body can't handle not having.
Right. Yeah, I think I've noticed that with some folks that I know too. Like some people are like, I'm good without it. Other people like my husband too is like, I need meat. I need some iron. I need something. So,
and I feel like it really is a blood type, because my body was out of whack, and I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I'm trying really hard, but I don't feel well. And so once I started to adjust, and it was a thing of animal guilt for me at one point, because I'm very compassionate towards all living beings. And I was like, I'm trying so hard to fill these gaps with all the stuff that they tell us to do. And I just couldn't. I couldn't get that balance.
Yeah.
And so adding a little bit, now I try not to do it often, but those little moments where I do give myself, and, I'll pray up my food and pray over my food and be like, sorry, God, but I have to, this animal is providing me with the proper nutrition and balance that I need. But it was really difficult. It was like very difficult. And I won't do chicken. I won't do pork.
Okay. Yeah.
But I will do like a piece of red meat, because I really need it. My iron levels were really low and dangerously low. So
yeah.
Yeah,
that's important to,
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like there's some amazing, wonderful, exciting things coming up for you in the next year plus. So that's awesome. Excited to keep track of all of it.
Yay.
Is there anything that we missed that you want to make sure that you mentioned today? Anything I didn't ask you about?
That people could check out, if they want to check out the song, it's called The Light. It's available on Spotify and all digital music platforms. The Light, Dessy Di Lauro. You can find me across all social media at Dessy Di Lauro. And that's Dessy, Dessy Dilauro. Just keep connected, and people can find me and see what's up for the end of January, new music. But in the meantime, they can go check out The Light.
Yeah, check out The Light and stay connected on the socials. We'll have all those links also in our show notes. So anybody listening right now can click on whatever app they are and just go click and follow you and everything. So
I'm always on Instagram.
Yeah.
People can write me messages. I write back, and I'm one of those people that's very connected to people. So
that's great. I love that.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, Dessy, thank you so much for joining me today. This time went by so fast, because it's been great chatting with you.
I talk
appreciate
a lot
it.
too, so
no, it is perfect. I love it.
Well, thank you for having me. Best of luck I'll be looking for your stuff too. I'm gonna check out your music and stuff and see what's going on.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for connecting today. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good rest of the day.
You too. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for joining us for Take Notice, Amplifying Black Stories. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to share it with someone you know. Connect with us on social media. We would love to hear from you. We are at Take Notice Podcast. You can also find us at takenoticepodcast.org. Reviews help us reach more listeners, so please rate and review on your favorite podcast app. Take Notice, Amplifying Black Stories is produced, hosted, and edited by Allison Preisinger Higgins. Music by Version Big 5 featuring Darius Higgins. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for taking notice.
Saying that they're doing right, why they take away our human rights. They want to say they're on our side, with all of their smiles and their alibis. Now is the time for us to organize and realize that together is one, is how we can make a change. Here I say now. For it is up to us to thank the change. See them saying that they're doing right, why they take away our human rights. They want to say they're on our side, with all of their smiles and their alibis. See them saying that they're doing right, why they take away our human rights. So make sure